Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to day 3 of the Breakthrough Client Results and Retention Bootcamp. Hello, hello. Thank you for your patience with getting started. I love it when the fire alarm goes off in my building. It's fantastic. Okay, without further delay, let's dive right in. I was creating this training yesterday, and I was literally jumping up and down, no exaggeration, with so much excitement for what we're about to talk about today. So I want to just dive right in. Can you drop a hello in the chat if you're here? Tell me you're live, you're with me, you're ready to get into all of the sauce. Wait a second, I lost the chat. Here we go. Okay. All right. Welcome, Ivory. Welcome, JD. Okay. So we're going to dive right into the material today because there's a lot to cover, and I just want to do a quick recap of day 2. If you have not watched trainings 1 and 2, I recommend, if you're watching the replay right now, I recommend you pause and go watch and implement those action steps first before getting into this training, because we are building upon the curriculum, and this is going to be so much more of an enriching experience for you when you have that. Okay? All right, so on day 2, we had a pretty spicy conversation. By the way, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen okay? The slides are good? Thumbs up. Okay, good. So we had a really powerful conversation on day 2. I would say it was activation station, okay? Activation station. We talked about what it actually takes, like a real honest conversation about what it actually takes to be the coach who's leading global coaching containers and has a stack of raving testimonials and triples your revenue from client retention. And we talked about a lot, but I boiled that down to 2 things. That if you want to be that coach, what it really takes is for you to have the mindset of, my coaching skills generate just as much revenue as my content. I'm going to say that again. My coaching skills generate just as much revenue as my content. So if you have that mindset, and then you back that up with studying the F out of your coaching, studying the fuck out of your coaching to close the practical gaps that are keeping you from having clients getting better results and wanting to continue working with you. So put the word activation in the chat if that tickles you with a little activation and you're ready to build on that activation today. Hi, Laura. Good to see you. Okay. So we had this really powerful conversation. We also talked about, we went even deeper on the completion and creation exercise. We talked about the nuances of how to coach your clients with this exercise so that you can really cause even more potent breakthroughs and extract all of the possible breakthroughs out of the exercise, which will create more potent action and more potent results. I see JD's activation in the chat. I love it. All right, this is going to be a very interactive chat, so be here with me and let's interact together. This is my favorite part of life trainings. Okay, so we talked about even more nuances of this exercise, and if you haven't checked out the voice notes in the Telegram community where Pamela and I were going even deeper about this, and we talked about some of the even nuances that we didn't get to on this call that were fantastic, go binge those audio recordings to get that nuance as well. It's absolutely brilliant. And then I had one of you lucky souls coach me in the hot seat with the tools that we were learning, and it was amazing. So today's agenda, I'm going to teach you a coaching tool that it's another way of allowing your clients to arrive at their own answers. It's a coaching tool that allows you to basically, in the moment, switch your teaching and mentorship moments into true coaching that help your clients arrive to their own answers and breakthroughs. And in doing so, build more self-trust, take more ownership and accountability of their results, and therefore take more action and get better results. So, and then beyond that, this is going to be a pretty quick tool. It's very packs a punch. And then after that, for those who want to stick around, I'm going to be sharing all the details about Coaching Craft Academy. So come into the chat and put the word bang in the chat if you're ready to go out of the boot camp with a bang, baby. Out with a bang. And speaking of bangs, I can hear they are doing some construction upstairs. So tell me in the chat or come off mute if you guys can hear that too loud. And I'll put my headphones in. Okay, so I don't hear it. Excellent. Okay, good. If anything changes, just let me know. Okay, so this is my last introductory comment. I want you guys to take 20 seconds, just look around the room and see if there's anything that can distract you from being fully here in this hour. Close the door, put your phone on mute, close out your tabs, whatever you need to do to be fully present with me. Okay? All right, let's get into it. So we're going to talk about first the energetics of why coaches give answers. We've talked about this a little bit in the previous trainings, but I want to just hit it head on to hit the point home for you, which is why is it that coaches usually a lot of the times divert to just giving answers even when they don't know they're doing it, and when they do know they're doing it and they do it anyway, because it truly is a habit. So and by the way, as I go through these, put the word oof in the chat if you're like, that's me. If you're like, oh, that hits for me. So in terms of more practical things that I think a lot of coaches think this is about, is it's just what you know, right? It's what your coach and their coach and everybody else in the coaching space models for you. Or maybe it's even like, I know I shouldn't be giving them as many answers, but I'm not sure how. Maybe you've tried to do that in a roundabout way, but it ends up just taking too much time and it's exhausting for you. And so the habit, like the quick and easy way to do this, is to just give them the answer. But underneath all of this, what I usually find is that the reason this happens is there's a sneaky part of you that wants to be liked, that you feel like, oh, I need to solve the problem for them so they like me. I know this was true for me, so I say this from experience. This is definitely me. Or maybe you feel responsible for your clients' results and you're scared to actually just let go. Like, if I don't do this, I'm afraid they won't get it, or it will take them a long time to get it and they won't progress. And then they're not going to get the results and I'm going to feel bad and I'm going to look bad, et cetera, et cetera. Is this landing for you guys? I know this was absolutely true for me. And the thing is, when this is the case, when you're operating this way, now you know, right? Because we're talking about it, we're bringing it to the surface. But when you're operating this way, you're doing the heavy lifting for your clients and you're robbing them of the exact breakthroughs that are what they need to get to their next level. And so that's exactly why your clients aren't getting as good of results as they could, and why you feel exhausted by your clients. And it's truly capping your income in a massive way. Direct correlation, because you feel you're at your capacity to serve, right? So when you coach in a way that allows your clients to arrive at their own answers, when they connect the dots and that they get the answer, they get to the end point, they connect the dots from within. We talk about embodiment a lot. That is when the breakthrough becomes like a literal embodied experience and it sticks for people. And when it sticks, that's when they actually change their behavior. That's when they actually drop the limiting belief. So that's when they take the needle moving action and they don't rely on you as much, because they can tune into themselves and find their own answers and don't need to plug into you so much. And that's when they're going to crush it and they resign with you, because at that point, the tangible results that they're getting are like the bonus on top of the stuff that they're working through internally and the person that they're becoming. Put a yes in the chat if this is landing for you. Put a yes in the chat if you're like, you know what, I've even experienced that myself. Like, when I get the breakthrough, when that light bulb goes on for me, I know what that's like. That's exactly the same for your clients. Yeah. So I want to show you some examples of how you're giving answers. There's, I think we have 3 examples. Yeah. So I'll share what this looks like, and then I'll share a framework for getting around this and what the quote unquote new answers look like after. So say you are a business coach and your client says, I'm worried that by calling out my dream client's gaps so directly in my content, she'll think I'm being rude. Some version of that. When the answer that comes to your head, your first thought, the thing that you want to respond is you're like, oh, okay, this is a story. And I know that her truest dream, I know from my experience and from other clients I've served, that her truest dream clients will actually appreciate being called out so directly. That's the thought that lands in your mind. And so you say that. I get that, but it's just a story. Your true dream clients will actually appreciate being called out so directly. So this is you giving them the answer. The difference between what is it? Yeah, give a man a fish versus teach a man to fish. This is giving them the fish. Here's another example. If you're a business coach and your client says, my program isn't flying off the shelves like I expected it to. When you look at my Instagram, do you see anything that's missing in my content that's preventing sales? So you go to their page and you see they're doing problem awareness, they're doing educational content, but the piece of the customer journey that's missing is calling out their dream clients' gaps. And so you say that. You're like, you know what? I don't see you calling out the gaps. I want to see you do that. That's the missing piece. And then they go do that. Or if you're a dating coach and your client says something like, so I'm dating this new guy and I am having a really bad day and I want to connect with him, but I just don't know how much is too much to say. I don't want to come off as dramatic. And you think, okay, she's overthinking this. Any healthy guy that she actually wants to be with would appreciate her being open and vulnerable, right? So she should just put her energy and attracting this, a guy who is healthy. And so you say that. So I'm going to give you a little love and shove. I think you're overthinking this because any healthy guy would respond well to you, I should say you, to you being open and vulnerable. So can you just focus on being yourself and kind of vetting him to see if he is that healthy guy? So the thing is, like, none of this is wrong and it makes sense, right? And it's helpful and it would theoretically lead your client to take another action. But you're robbing them of the critical thinking and the intellectual effort of figuring that out themselves. And it's these little moments like this that add up to clients becoming more dependent on you and feeling like they need to ask you this versus just tuning in and figuring it out themselves. So we're going to talk about the observation flip tool, which is very simple. It's where you're literally just flipping whatever thought or observation lands in your head that you want to say to your client. First thing, there's 4-step process. You're flipping your observation or your answer into a question that allows them to have their own answer. So the first step you're going to do is just listen, like get present with your client, get present to what's in your mind, what you feel compelled to say. And then step 2, resist the urge to just say it. You're going to pause and resist the urge to just say it. And then step 3, you're going to flip that into a question where it's almost like a fill in the blank question. Flip it into a question where there is like one logical or low hanging fruit answer, which is the thing that you were going to say. So it's the roundabout way or reverse engineering of them to have the thought that was your thought. Put a yes in the chat if this is landing with for you. And then once they, amazing. And then once they get the answer, then you're going to ask them, you're going to ground it in action and just ask the question that's like, okay, so where are you going to go? So what we're doing here is just flipping. It's like, what is that phrase? You're showing them, you're shining a light on the answer for them to see it rather than just telling them. So let's look at what this looks like. With those same examples here, we have the client who's concerned about calling out her dream client's gaps. Otherwise, they think she's rude. So instead of saying, I get that, but it's just a story, your truest dream clients will appreciate being called out so directly. You're going to flip that into a question. I get that, but think about your truest dream client, the one person who you know is meant to be in your program. How does she actually relate to being called out so directly? So your truest dream client will appreciate it. How would your truest dream client feel about it? Do you see how this, put a yes in the chat if this is landing for you? You're literally just flipping the answer into a question. Let's go to another example. The business coach example. My program isn't flying off the shelves like I expected it to. When you look at my Instagram, do you see anything's missing in my content? So rather than just saying, here's what's missing, you need to call out your dream client's gaps, you're going to flip that into a question. Instead of this is what's missing, it's what do you think is missing? If you think about, so you could say something like, okay, let's think about this for a second. If you think about the buyer's journey, when you look at your Instagram, what do you see is missing from your content? And this is where this is where coaches like lingering little people pleasing stuff comes in. You want to be liked. Because it's like, oh, well, aren't I just making it harder for them? Aren't I just making it harder for them to take the action? Like, aren't I just delaying them taking action by having them go think about this? No. What's delaying their action is feeling like they need to come talk to you about it versus just figuring it out themselves and moving forward. And if a client expects you, this is you can see where doing this over and over again is what starts to have you resenting clients because you're like, oh my God, how are they asking this question? How are they asking this question? It's so simple. Did they even do the work first, or did they just run to me and ask me the question? Are they being lazy? I know I'm saying some like, this is the kind of behind the curtain stuff that every coach is thinking but doesn't want to say. So put a yes in the chat if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Like that's crossed your mind and you're like, I love this person. I have empathy for this person and I want to help them. But Lordy, I want them to do the work because they're smarter than this. They are more powerful than this. Right? So let's look at one more example. If you're the dating coach, how much is too much to say to a new guy you're dating if you're having a bad day? So instead of saying you're overthinking this, a healthy guy will respond really well. So just focus on the healthy guy. You're going to, oh no, I didn't get the answer in there. Okay, well, I have it over here. So instead of saying any healthy guy will respond well, you're going to flip that into the question, just like we did for the ideal client example. How do you think of the healthy guy that you want to attract? Like the target you're actually aiming for. Think of the healthy guy who you are committed to attracting. How do you think he would respond to you being open and vulnerable about a bad day? So healthy guy would respond well. How do you think a healthy guy would respond? Do you see what I'm saying about how the answer, when you phrase it this way, you just take the second and like reverse fill in the blank. There is only kind of one logical answer. They know the answer. You're just pointing them to the answer. Put a yes in the chat if this is landing for you. And you're like, okay, I can do this for sure. So at that point, when you say, let's go back to this one. When you say, think about the buyer's journey, what do you see is missing from your content? And they're like, oh, I get it. I'm not talking to the gaps, talking about the gaps. This is the point where you go to step 4, which is grounding it in action. So instead of saying, great, now go do this content piece with the talking about the gaps, you're going to say, great, so what's your next action? So what's your next action? If you're in this dating example, when she's like, you know what? You're so right. The guy who, I don't even care about this guy. What matters is he the guy for me? Let me focus on the healthy guy that I'm attracting. She gets that. Then the next question is, great. So how do you want to share about your bad day with this guy? How do you want to do that? How are you going to do that? And leaving it open-ended so that she declares the action. She's like, okay, I'm deciding to do this. This is so powerful, you guys. I know it seems like maybe it seems like kind of simple, but coaches don't do this. They don't do this. And when you do this, like I want you to think of big moves are made in the small moves. You know, in your business that the actions you're taking every single day over the course of 3 months will influence, say you have a launch, right? In 3 months, all of the actions you're taking in those 3 months leading up to it will influence the big result of your launch, right? It's the same with your coaching. It's the same with how you're getting your clients from point A to point B. All of these little micro opportunities to cause breakthroughs are what add up to your clients being the person who takes the big action to get the big result. So this may seem like so simple and but coaches don't do this. And I'll just say it, if your clients could be getting better results and you know that, and more clients could be re-signing and you know that, you're not doing this enough. So where do I want to go with this now? Oh yeah. So the couple of caveats that I would say, or not caveats, but just kind of situational things that might come up is, okay, it's all is well when they get it right away, when they're like, oh, duh, and they have the answer. But that doesn't always happen. So if they are challenging you on this, if they're like, oh, I don't know, like go back to this example. Your truest dream client, how would she relate to being called out directly? I don't know. People will do that sometimes. I don't know. I don't know. You can be kind of cheeky and tongue in cheek and go, really? Come on. You do know. I think you do know. Like, this is your dream client. I think you do know. That's where you're holding the line again of the people pleasing and just giving the answer. Can get a little uncomfortable when if they're not getting it right away, or if they're still trying to get you to take the bait of getting the answer, even if they're not overtly trying to do that. And be like, think about the buyer's journey. I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I've been looking at it. Okay. Well, and then you can ask the reverse question in another way. Okay, well, if you were your ideal client and you were looking at your Instagram feed, Why do you think you wouldn't buy? And really just challenge them to think about it. Sometimes if there's a lot of resistance around this, you will hear that a deeper limiting belief comes up. And I don't want to get into that right now because it's kind of a segue, but like if you hear a deeper limiting belief come up, you can move to address that. But the opportunity here is really for you to hold your ground a little bit and kind of push them and challenge them. 9 times out of 10, they will get there themselves and it will be super simple and boom, you're on your way. Any questions about this? You can, for time's sake, you can just take yourself off mute and ask if you have a question. Put a, what do I want to say to wake you guys up? Put a yeah, baby in the chat if you're here with me and you're ready to move on. JD says, yeah, baby. Okay, so just to underline this, you can see, can you see how when you make these, this is a 1% refinement, just like you're refining your hooks in your Instagram content, that's a 1% refinement that can lead to literal sales. This is a 1% refinement that can lead to sales too, but just through client retention. So when you do this over and over, it's going to create this beautiful compounding effect where not only are they going to, you are going to feel lighter and more empowered around your coaching. It's not going to be so exhausting. And that's awesome. And that will save you time and mental bandwidth to serve other clients, to create, to live your life, to scale your programs. Lovely. Love it. Lovely. But over time, it's also you're reinforcing a new habit in your client, which is to do the work themselves. And when you do this, they'll start to just intrinsically become more self-aware and more curious by you asking these types of questions. They will subconsciously remember these questions and they'll start to ask themselves those same questions and they'll trust themselves more and they'll come to you less, or the problems they come to you for will be higher level problems that actually move the needle. And they're taking bigger action, they're getting better results, and they're re-signing because, again, it's not just about the tangible results. It's like, oh, the way I feel about myself. When I work with JD, when I work with Ivory, when I work with Laura, I feel powerful. I feel like I can work, I can solve problems. Like I feel confident. I feel bold. I feel motivated to move forward. And that's what has people coming back again and again, you guys. Every coach in every niche. I know you can take this with a grain of salt. The work that you do, no one does it like you do, but at the same time, this is the kind of service that makes you stand out from other coaches. And this is the kind of service that's special and that has clients come back for again and again. Okay, we are wrapping it up. I told you it was quick. This little guy packs a punch here. We're wrapping it up here. So the action step for this tool is very simple. Practice the observation flip tool with your clients this week and post your action step in the private Telegram community. I'm going to be active in there through the end of the day tomorrow. So if you have questions or want to talk about it deeper, throw your questions and observations in there and I'm happy to respond, or you guys can of course support each other in that. And here's one more thing that I'll say about this tool, which applies to pretty much everything I teach, but in particular this tool. This is not this is a simple enough tool that you can practice it with other people outside of your clients. You can practice it if you're talking to your kid. You can practice it talking to your partner. Use your discretion, like do it with integrity. But that's what's great about this is it's very simple and you can literally even use it with the Trader Joe's checker. It's that simple. So go practice and put your action step in the Telegram community. All right, I think that was all that I had. Yes, brilliant. So just a reminder, we have two. I just see Laura's, yeah, baby. I love it. So just a reminder that we have two giveaways running, and these giveaways are ending tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time. The first giveaway is if you tag me on Instagram stories, if you DM me a takeaway from any one of these trainings, or if you post a takeaway in the Telegram, if you do that at least once, you are unlocking a bonus training, which is how to infuse coaching tools into your sales conversations to increase authentic conversions, meaning help clients see your work as like the no-brainer, a genuine, oh my God, please, I love this, let's have it decision for your dream clients. And I've used this method to have anywhere from 60 to 70% conversions in sales conversations. And then the grand prize giveaway is a $500 credit towards Coaching Craft Academy, which is my signature program I'll be sharing about in just a few minutes. And also, I forgot to mention this. I was talking about it in the emails, in the reminder emails for these calls, but I completely forgot to mention it, so my bad. But if you showed up live to any of these trainings, you are able to ask me one personalized one-on-one question. So this can be, whereas the Telegram is reserved for specifically the tools that we're talking about, this is like a personalized private Q&A question that you can ask me on anything related to coaching, serving your clients, and client retention. So if you unlocked that bonus, I will DM you with all the info. Okay. And if you're in the VIP with me and you already have something like that, we'll figure out something else for you. Okay. Brilliant. So we're gonna just do a recap. Let's look back on the last week together. It's been a week already, which is crazy. We're gonna do a recap of what we learned. So you came to this boot camp because you were dealing with things like clients bringing the same problems week after week, coaching feeling exhausting because you're doing the work for them, and serving clients, like getting a client a breakthrough taking a long time, upwards of 30 minutes on a hot seat call, and your palms are sweating because you're like, holy crap, there's so many more people on this call and I want to make sure I serve them. How the heck am I going to do that in 90 minutes? And as a result, you have these 1 to 2 star player clients who are just like, they absolutely crush it. Absolutely crush it. And then the rest of your clients are just getting okay results and giving you this generic, like, yeah, I got a lot out of it testimonial. And then you see that they hired some other coach 2 weeks later. Or maybe you have a steady stream of new clients, but the majority aren't re-signing. And you're holding back from scaling your group programs because you feel capped in the time and energy that you have serving your current clients. So we talked about how this is all happening because, let me take a sip of my water. Because you know how to market and sell and sign on empowered clients. You are a genius at teaching what you know. You do it better than anyone. You create really potent curriculums that are action forward to get people results. And you're an incredible mentor. You've done a lot, you've been through the trenches, and you have so much wisdom to pass on to your clients. But you never learned how to coach for breakthrough results. And when that's all happening with clients, I say that, I mean, when this stuff is all happening with clients, you are doing things like changing your messaging to attract a higher level client. You're over delivering, going long on calls, and that's creating overwhelm. and it's not solving the mindset blocks that are actually keeping them from their next level. Or you're mentoring, and like we've seen in this training today and the others, it doesn't solve the root problem, and it's creating codependency that inhibits them from taking action. Or you're doing the work for them by using subconscious programming and other truly fantastic methods, and that's not scalable. You can't have 45 people in a call who one at a time you work through their blocks. And when it comes to actual breakthrough coaching for triple the client results and client retention, it's causing the needle moving breakthroughs that do all of this good stuff. We're going to talk more about this in a second, but causing the needle moving breakthroughs that get to the root problem, create buy-in, create self-awareness, reveal the gaps, and actually cause them to close those gaps. We talked about or you learned rather, the completion and creation exercise. We taught you how to not only use it for yourself to work through your own blocks, awesome, but we taught you how to, why am I saying we? I taught you how to use that with your clients and how to deliver that with nuance to get even more potent breakthroughs for them. And we taught you the observation. Why do I keep saying we? I taught you the observation flip tool that allows you to have your clients get to their own answers, all of which allows you to deliver more potent breakthroughs in less time and save that time and energy and bandwidth to scale your programs to the moon. Whew, that was a lot in a week, no? Put a woo, baby, if that was a lot, but you're here for it because it totally changed your life. I just changed my life. So what I want to leave you with, I meant what I said. Laura says, woo. I really meant what I said yesterday on Tuesday in day 2. I meant what I said, that you have truly, there is no difference between me and you. You have everything that you need inside of you right now to be the coach who's coaching hundreds globally and has a stack of raving testimonials and triples your revenue from client retention. You do. And coaching is a science. So when you close those practical gaps, and when you have the mindset of coaching is a revenue generating skill for me, and the more I perfect that, the more money I make, and you relentlessly refine those reps, starting with what you learned in the bootcamp here, there is no mountain, no top to the mountain of you being the best coach you can be, but your success is inevitable and you will for sure be that coach. So put "my success is inevitable" in the chat to anchor that in. My success is inevitable. If I had music right now, if I could do that, this is where I would put the music on. So my success is inevitable. Beautiful. So go forth and crush it. Go forth and crush it. This officially concludes the learning portion of the Breakthrough Client Results and Retention Bootcamp. I invite you to take action and put in your reps. Use what you've learned here, put in the reps, do it over and over and over again, and watch yourself be amazed at the way that you're leading yourself, the way you're leading your clients, what they're accomplishing, and how your business grows as a result. And keep me updated, please. I love hearing updates about, like, just because this bootcamp is completing, don't be a stranger. So thank you for taking the time to be here. This is 3 days, and I know that there's a million other things that you could be doing with your time. So I don't take that lightly, and I appreciate that you chose to spend it here learning and growing with me. So put "crush it" in the chat if you're going to go forth and crush it after the boot camp. Crush it, baby. Yeah, crush it. Woo. So I think that's it. Yeah, I said everything I wanted to say. So if you are complete with the Breakthrough Client Results and Retention Bootcamp, you can feel free to hop off the call now. And if you loved what you learned in the bootcamp and you're hyped to go all in on your coaching mastery so you can 3x your revenue from client retention, I would love to share all the details about Coaching Craft Academy with you. So put a yes in the chat if that's cool with you, if I share all those details. Thanks, Laura. Okay, yes, let's do it. So this boot camp has been a little taste of the work that I do with my clients in my signature program, Coaching Craft Academy. Da, da, da. I wish I had the music. I'll have to add that for next time because I just keep hearing it in my head. Okay, so Coaching Craft Academy is my 3-month signature program, my signature group program, where you learn coaching and leadership tools to bust through your own blocks and your clients' blocks so that you can 3x your business and revenue as a leader and turn clients into ride or die raving fans with mic drop results. Woo! I love that tagline. I just feel like there's a mic drop in the tagline. So I want you to imagine for a second. Just imagine with me for a second. I want you to imagine that your Google Drive is full of testimonials that you're like, which one do I choose to put on my stories? I can't choose. They're all awesome. And these are testimonials that make your dream clients go, damn, I need that program. Can I join, please? And clients are resigning 3-4 times and your revenue triples from client retention. Imagine that you are a whiz, a Jedi master. By the way, I have a Star Wars tattoo and I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, hence the references. So imagine you coaching your clients to arrive at their own answers, and they're building 10 times the self-trust and conviction in their genius and take even more bold action. Being able to get through 10 to 15 clients on a 90-minute hot seat call because you deliver needle moving breakthroughs in minutes. And so it's game on to scale your program to the moon. You're like, I got this. Let's freaking go. And you going 5 layers deep, 5 times as fast, and work through your client's toughest blocks and resistance. And they stay with you long term because they feel connected to you. You have a deeper relationship from that depth and they're getting the results. Yeah. But they're like, I love working with JD. I love working with this person because of who I'm becoming. And the cherry on top, you coaching yourself through your own stuff in 5 minutes and boom, you go, versus getting stuck on something and having to wait a week until you have your next mastermind call. And so you're building your business 10 times as fast, and dream clients are joining your offers because they feel that energy from you and they're like, oh, I want to be led by her. All of this is your new normal that's possible for you on the other side of CCA. So we talked a lot about what you have learned, or you did learn a lot in the bootcamp, but here's everything that you did not learn yet that I'm teaching you inside of Coaching Craft Academy. These are all of the pillars that are the complete framework for you tripling your revenue from client retention. So pillar 1 is forensic listening. So I get that you practice active listening. Being in this crazy ride of entrepreneurship, you have self-awareness, you know what active listening is. Maybe you've even learned it before. But right now, you're coaching as the problem solver, right? You're giving the answers, you're doing the things. And so you're listening from a place of what's the answer and how do I solve their problem? Because you're doing that, you're missing valuable language and energetic clues about what's really going on underneath the surface with your client. And so they're asking these surface level questions that they think the problem is, And you're matching that frequency and giving them these surface level answers. And this is causing your coaching to take a lot longer. And so I'm going to teach you what I call forensic listening, which is how to listen between the lines, so to speak, so that you know what breakthrough your client actually needs versus what they think they need to get to their next level, and they take the needle moving action faster, and then you get to serve more clients in less time, and your programs have a depth to them that elevates the space. Forensic listening. It will change your life. I promise you that. The next pillar is identifying the root problem quickly, using language clues, and getting clients into bigger self-belief and therefore action. So we've touched on this a lot in the training, or excuse me, in the boot camp, but there's a whole other level to this that we have not even touched yet. Clients are bringing the same problems to the call 3 weeks in a row because they haven't had their breakthrough yet, and it's driving you nuts, right? The reason why this is happening, even though you fixed your messaging, even though you're adding the energetics trainings to your programs to get ahead of the mindset blocks, even though you're like, okay, maybe they need this framework instead. You're teaching them more frameworks or plainly just telling them what to do, is all of this is causing this problem because you're not actually getting to the root cause. And that's why it's keeping your client stuck. And so I'm going to teach you how to use language clues, meaning the words that your clients are using, how to basically decode that and identify the root problem quickly just through their language and rewire it. And to do this in a really quick, intentional way with less steps so that they have the needle moving breakthrough in minutes and they're unleashed in action. This skill, or this part of the framework alone, allowed me to go from serving 3 people on a 90-minute hot seat to serving anywhere from 10 to 15 in that time, and buying back hours per week that I could use to grow my business in other ways. Huge. Causing breakthrough behavior and performance. So this is essentially the completion and creation exercise. We've already touched on this. And causing clients to arrive at their own answers and make empowered decisions. We talked a lot about answers. We didn't talk a lot about decisions. As you know, like, your clients are insanely powerful. They're action takers, but you know that they would blow their results out of the water even more if they had more self-trust and if they made faster decisions. Delay in decisions, sitting in the waiting zone or the no man's land of what should I do, creates so much drag, right? And right now, your coaching feels exhausting because you are basically doing the work for them. And so when they're plugging in for advice and like, hey, can you look at this? It's because you've trained them, not intentionally, but you've trained them to go outside of themselves and seek your validation, basically. And it makes them codependent. Or you're giving them really like fluffy, intangible coaching, like do what feels aligned, or feel into this, or just decide, which I get where your head's at. And I get that that is helpful. Like, when you have the muscle of deciding, you can't unlearn it, and it's hugely helpful, but it's super fluffy. And so it works for some people, but most of the time it just leaves clients going, okay, well, I don't know, it feels aligned. So, okay. And then they just delay the action. So I'm teaching you powerful coaching inquiries and processes that lead your clients to arrive at their own answers, but then also make empowered decisions. And so they're collapsing time from idea to action. They're building self-trust and conviction, and they're leading themselves powerfully and crushing their goals. Whew, need another sip. Put a hey girl in the chat if you're still with me. If you are here with me. Hey girl, hey. There she is. Cool. So we also have not talked yet about getting client buy-in and firing them up to make 10x moves. So your clients, because of the fact that they're badasses, they have big goals, right? Which means they're going to be confronted from those big goals. And right now, in your group containers and in your long-term containers. Your clients, tell me, put a yes in the chat if you've experienced this, is where they come into your program and they come out of the gate hot. They're like, woo, let's freaking go. I'm gonna crush this. Can't stop me now. And they got this energy and this action. And then by week 6, they're still committed. They still want it, but their momentum slows because they're entertaining their limitations. All of a sudden, they're attached to the outcome. They're overthinking. They're playing small. And so you're like, okay, I need to reactivate them somehow. Let me go create some activating posts. Let me talk about what I'm doing in my business to activate them and model the leadership for them. Or maybe you're even gassing them up on calls like, come on, you got this. Of course you got this. Or you're being relatable, like, I've been there, keep going. Or you're telling them like, go fall in love with your life and then come back and do X, Y, and Z. That's all awesome. And again, it works for some people, but a lot of the times it just creates this temporary surge of inspiration and a need for external validation. And that keeps them from quantum leaps. So I'm going to show you questions that you can ask and ways of actually creating intrinsic motivation in your clients that has them rebound from breakdowns faster and makes them way more likely to make 10x moves that create 10x results and 10x your income. We're going to talk about melting resistance and calling your clients into their greatness. This is a huge one. So you have a roster of empowered clients, right? They don't need convincing to take action. They're already taking action. They don't resist you. They're not being little butthead clients and resisting you and making it hard to do your job. But they still have resistance because new level, new devil. We know that never truly goes away. So you coach them to move through the resistance. You coach them to feel the fear and do it anyway. You uncover the limiting beliefs and you tell them to choose a new belief, or maybe you even do an exercise to regulate their nervous system. Again, the reason why they're still hesitating or why they're still overthinking, or maybe even have some self-sabotage patterns coming through, is because this creates the temporary spurts rather than it coming from them. So I'm teaching you some really, oh, and the other part of this that I should say is this is also where the you being liked stuff and your people pleasing stuff that comes up in your other relationships comes through in your coaching. If you think that you have a people pleasing tendency in your life and it's not coming through in your coaching, think again. It absolutely is. And it's keeping your client stuck and it's keeping you from making thousands more dollars. So we're going to get into that, all that energetic juiciness as well, so that you can really call your clients into their greatness and have really firm but empathetic ways to melt their resistance, like for good, and push them to their edge. And when you do that, they're taking 5 times the action at 5 times the pace. And this is when they truly rise to a higher standard. And they re-sign because they're like, wow, when I'm in so-and-so's world, I play at a higher level because that's the standard. Okay, and the last pillar, being and unleashing the leader. So is it true that you need to have the practical coaching skills to reliably cause breakthroughs and results? Yes. And by the end of CCA, you're going to have those Jedi level skills that have dream clients being like, you're never getting rid of me. I love you. Send me the link so I can buy again, please. But you will stand out in a sea of coaches as the one that your dream clients really want to work with when you unleash the leader within. And the truth is, right now, you're still being the nice girl in your coaching. It's coming out in sneaky little ways. You're telling them what's up, you're showing them the gap, but you're not being unapologetic about it. You're not boldly calling them out in the way that would truly have them rise. And so I'm going to help you step into that bold, unapologetic version of you who leads potent, transformative containers with hundreds of people around the world clients at every level, quote unquote level. This is why I'm coaching six-figure, multi-six-figure, and seven-figure entrepreneurs around the world. It's because when you're tapped into that leadership and the unapologeticness, that combined with the practical skills is like a whole other level of what's possible. And when you do that, that's when your dream clients will hire you because you know a lot of stuff and you're a genius and you can teach that to them. But mostly because they see how you model leadership and the energy that you embody is infectious, and they got to get them some of that because they know that them tapping into that energy is going to help them have their business explode as well. Okay. Whew. Any questions or clarification on the pillars, on the framework of CCA? I know this curriculum forwards and back, like I can do it in my sleep. And when I talk about it this way, I'm like, that's so badass. It's so cool. I'm tickled. Okay. So how CCA works, let's talk about how it's structured. So it's a 12-week program, and it is designed primarily with weekly training and education calls. These are going to be delivered live. I'm shooting for 60 minutes or less every time, really making this as potent as possible for you because I know you're busy. And there will be a couple of pre-recorded trainings that really are just shorter trainings that don't require you guys to be on a live call. On these training and education calls, I'm going to be sharing, obviously, the education, but it's important for me to, I know that coaching is distinct when you're learning about it in the fact that it's a live conversation and it's very nuanced. So what I'm doing to be able to cater to different learning styles is we're going to do live demos of some of the tools that just in the same way that we've been doing in this boot camp. And then I also have examples of real coaching conversations that I'm going to put into the trainings and walk you through so that you could recognize, oh, this is where this tool is, and you can see how this actually looks, in reality. And periodically throughout the program, there's going to be 4 hot seat and practice coaching calls, I should say. Hot seat and practice coaching calls. So these are scattered after not bi-weekly. I'm only doing them after every major kind of stopping point in the curriculum. And the reason for that is I don't want to overload you with calls. You don't need more calls. You need more time practicing and doing the things. So we're going to have these calls throughout the program. And when I say hot seat and practice coaching calls, this is what I mean. It's hot seat coaching, meaning you can, of course, get hot seat coaching by me, but it's also where we're going to have opportunities to practice the tools further. So like I said, coaching is different than other skills. Take content, for example. It's different when it comes to practicing. It's different than content where it's like, go practice creating a problem awareness post and you can just whip out your laptop and do it. It's different putting your rep in because you're doing it live with another person, with a client, right? And so you're in the moment and you're thinking on your feet. And so I'm designing this program to make it as easy as possible for you to get in, learn the things, get out and implement, but also practice. So when I say out of cohort practice, after the training and education calls, you're going to have an action step, which is go practice this tool with your clients, right? And you're going to have in cohort practice. And so on these hot seat and practice calls, you're going to be able to practice as a coach and as a client. We all have stuff that we're going through, right? And on these calls, you're going to be able to get your own blocks worked through that are the blocks that are keeping you from your next level and be coached through it by each other, and vice versa, where you get to use what you're learning and practice coaching someone else to work through a block. And by doing this, it's like a very safe space for all of the people in the cohort to be able to get some at bats and get your feet wet in a live conversation. You're growing your coaching skills and you're growing yourself to grow your business at the same time. And lastly, there's a private Telegram community. So I will not be active in this community, but I'm creating this community space for you because you get to, oh, I just lost my place. Yeah, I'm creating this community space for you because your learning is even more cemented, not just when you go practice the tools, but when you share about how it went. So this is a place for you to share your wins, share your ahas, and share how you're using the tools to further integrate it even more. And just to take this one step further, I want to underline something, which is to me the cherry on top and what makes this program truly special. Besides the transformation that you're able to create with your clients and how that's going to grow your business and how that's going to allow you to create more impact, what is the cherry on top for me for CCA is how you're using these tools to coach yourself and coach yourself through your own shit and go. So the first part of being a great coach is who gives the best breakthroughs is to be able to get yourself breakthroughs because you can't give to your clients what you don't have. And so let's get real. How often in business do you have the stuff come up? The mindset stuff, the hiccups. You have to work through your own crap. Here's a gap. Here's a hiccup. By you learning all of these tools in CCA, it's like, yes, you're going to learn them. You're going to practice them with your clients, but you're also going to learn them for yourself to be able to work through your stuff in 5 minutes and go and take action versus waiting a few days to ask your mentor. And that's when you have the energy that dream clients want to buy from you and you're building your business 10 times as fast. I want to share 2 really awesome, quick examples from the founding members of CCA. So one of my students, her name, well, I won't say her name, her student S, she used the completion and creation exercise that you learned in the boot camp. And I checked in with her a few weeks ago and was like, hey, how's it going? And she said, well, I've used the completion and creation exercise a billion times to let go of old patterns and how I show up in my business. And even is using it to help with relationship challenges and things like that, that also affect your mental bandwidth in how you show up for your business. And I just thought that was the coolest thing that now she's moving and taking bigger action because she's working through these identity shifts and she's able to do that for herself. And my other client in CCA, she is using the same completion and creation exercise that is allowing her to be able to coach through her own limiting beliefs that have held her back in her business. It's helped her become a better wife, mother, daughter, sister, friend, and woman. And conversations all around her becoming more efficient and productive and less stressful, especially with her son. This just moves me, it moves me to tears because I think, oh my God, this is the priceless thing to me. Yeah, the business growth, awesome, cool. Clients wanting to work with you, awesome, cool. But this is priceless. What you're able to do for yourself is truly priceless. So let's talk about everything that you're getting. So just a quick recap, we have the 12 weekly group training and education calls at a $6,000 value. We have the hot seat and practice coaching calls at a $2,500 value. We have the integration steps in the cohort and outside of the cohort to help you integrate, and the private Telegram community to help you further integrate your learning and share with each other. So the total value of that you're getting in CCA is over $9,500. And just because I love you, there's a couple of other things that I created as truly kick-ass bonuses to take your transformation to the next level in CCA. One of them is called the CCA Master Coaching Toolkit. So I know how it goes when you learn new things, especially when you're busy building a business and you're building this massive, huge thing. You have a lot going on. You watch the trainings and you intend to apply what you learned, but you forget to implement it because the connection isn't there in your brain yet. You know what I'm saying? And so when the connection isn't there in your brain yet. And so I want to make it as simple as possible for you to just take what you learn and go implement it and make it as actionable as possible. So I'm creating the CCA coaching toolkit, which is basically a digital quick reference guide for all of the tools and frameworks that you're learning in the program. So you can have it handy with you on your laptop as you're going about your day. You could even print out a version if you're old school like me and like to print things out. You can even print it out and have it handy with you. And you can use that to get your reps in faster. I'm also giving you lifetime access to CCA. So all curriculum updates for every version of CCA after this, and all live trainings. You can be on all of the live training calls, on all of the live coaching calls in the future. The coaching toolkit is a $500 value, and the lifetime access, I put mucho dinero value. And just for you babes who are in the boot camp, I've included 2 extra bonuses for you because you're extra special for being in the boot camp. So if you were one of the first 3 people to join CCA, you're going to get a 30-minute one-on-one coaching strategy session. That's for the first 3 people only. And if you join before 6 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, August 2nd, Friday, August 2nd, you're going to get a personalized coaching audit, which is so cool. I'm so excited to do this. So it's a personalized coaching audit where you're going to send me a replay of a recent client coaching call where you felt like, you know what, I didn't quite crack the nut there. I realized I didn't coach as well as I thought I could, or they weren't getting the breakthrough and I'm not sure why. And I'm going to do a live audit of that on a call with specific refinements that you can make to help get them better breakthrough results. If you're cool with it, I'll do it live for everybody on CCA so that all of you can see behind the scenes and just start to build the muscle of how to audit your own coaching. Okay. Oh, and I think I said this, but the coaching audit bootcamp, the coaching audit bonus expires tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, and the one-on-one session is for the first 3 people only. Okay, so the total value of the training calls, the hot seat practice and coaching calls, the integration steps, the community, and all of the juicy kick-ass bonuses are over $10,300. So awesome. This is truly, I was sitting with this as I was creating this training, and I have to say, this is a one of a kind program. There's no program out there on the internet like this. And I'm very proud of that. And I'm so excited to deliver it to you. The last thing I'll say is 2 pieces of urgency for you, which is this is the last cohort that's running this year. The next time you're able to join CCA is for the cohort we're launching in December and kicking off that cohort in January of 2025. So this is the last cohort of this year. If you're all in on these skills and you're ready to go, this is your time to do it this year. Otherwise, you'll be doing it a year from now. And the last day to join this cohort of CCA is August 12th, which is the day before the welcome call. August 12th, which I believe is a Monday. I will confirm, but it's August 12th. Okay. Satisfaction guaranteed. So I know that you know that, like, you already know this, your results depend on you showing up and implementing the material. When I think about the coach client relationship, it's like Results happen when you and I both give 100% of 50%. So I will say it plainly, I'm not here to waste my time with people who are here to seek opportunities and just buy programs that sit in the program graveyard. And so for that reason, there is no refund policy. But I am 1000% confident that if you show up and do the work and you do meet me there at 100% at 50%, CCA is going to work for you, period. All right. So if you know that you're next, if you know that CCA is the next place for you, you can DM me CCA on Instagram and we'll get it done. We'll have you join the program and I'll welcome you inside and do a little happy dance. And if you are thinking, I want to support you in making an empowered decision either way, that's always my goal. So if you're thinking like, damn, CCA would be a big breakthrough for me. This is what I feel I've been missing. I want this. And then that little trolley voice starts creeping in and yapping at you. I have so much going on right now. I'm already in a mastermind. I'm already in these other programs. Maybe I'll join on the next round. Am I ready for this right now? My clients are already doing great. I know there's always room for improvement, but they're already doing great. And maybe I should make this other business investment instead. I want to remind you that if you want breakthrough client results and retention, you have to make a breakthrough move. Not an ordinary move or the safe move. Be in integrity with your choices, but you do have to make a breakthrough move. I said this yesterday, but your 2,000 hours of coaching will pass anyway. They're going to pass anyway. How that goes is totally up to you. Your current results, your client transformations and testimonials and retention make total sense for your coaching skills, for how you've been seeing coaching and relating to it as a revenue generating activity, and how you study it or not. I didn't get here having the results that I do by delaying learning that. Like I said before, I sucked at marketing until this year. So the only reason I even had a business was because of these skills. And I didn't get here by delaying that or putting a Band-Aid on my skills gaps. I got here by making the breakthrough moves. So if you want breakthrough client results and retention and breakthrough growth in your business as a leader and breakthrough results in your business, period, you have to make the breakthrough move. So I ask you, let's think this through for a little bit. What is it costing you not to do this? Like I said, this is the last cohort of the year. If not now, it will be 2025. So how many, really tangibly, like how many thousands of dollars, clients' lives transformed, hours spent being exhausted and overextending yourself, is it costing you not to do this? Or what is it costing you to invest thousands more dollars into business skills only to miss out on that revenue from client retention because clients aren't re-signing and you're having to do more work to sign more clients? That's like pouring water into a bucket that has holes in it. Or maybe your clients are getting great results and you're making amazing money, but what is it costing you if you're being complacent? Like, yeah, this is already great, but what if it was 5 times that? Could I be making 5 times the money? Having 5 times the testimonials? Because I've experienced this myself when the extraordinary things that I do on a daily basis occur as normal to me and I get kind of complacent. So are you getting complacent? What is it costing you? Oh, yep. There we go. We already talked about this. The other thing that I would say is what can you do with the hours of calendar space and headspace that you're going to gain back? I know you're busy. and you know this, I know this, you know this, I know this, that life will always be lifing. And it's really about you prioritizing and holding the standard of service and capacity to serve your people in your busiest season. Because as you grow and scale, that's only going to get harder. So what will happen is if the skill level doesn't match the capacity that you're going to grow your business, the quality of your programs is going to suffer, or the quality of your clients' results is going to suffer, or you're going to burn yourself out trying to keep up with that demand. And I don't want that for you. No fun. So yes, it's true that you're going to slow down a little bit to speed up. It's like the slingshot effect, right? You pull back and then boom, you go forward. When you learn these skills, you are going to slow down to speed up for sure. But I'm telling you, you will gain hours back a week in your calendar, but then also your mental headspace by being more efficient, by getting the breakthroughs faster, by clients leading themselves and not needing you as much. And in that time and energy that you saved, now great. Now you can go out and scale your programs. Now you can go live your life. Now you can go build your movement. So with that, I would say go make your breakthrough move. You are not ordinary. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here with me. It's a very extraordinary thing to even sit through a boot camp like this and be in a boot camp like this. A matter of fact, it's an extraordinary thing to be an entrepreneur, focused on making money from making people's lives better. That's extraordinary. And you, getting goosebumps, you have everything that you need inside of you right now. It's just about you unlocking that power and closing those gaps. You are a leader. You already know that. Your clients know that. Everybody knows it. You're that girl. You're that girl in the room who people watch already. And there's still parts that are showing up where you've been being the coach in the niche, teaching a step-by-step process in Canva and answering questions in exchange for money. And I know that's not you. You were put here to create a freaking ripple effect across the world and feed your soul and make massive amounts of money doing that. And you were meant to cause breakthroughs that aren't like, oh yeah, got my question answered. But I'm talking breakthroughs that your clients come back to you 10 years from now and they go, oh my God, they pull you aside. Do you remember that conversation we had 10 years ago? I still think about that. That changed my life. Those are the kinds of breakthroughs that you were meant to cause. I know this about you because I am you. I was you. And I created CCA for you. And we're going to freaking blow this out of the water and have a blast doing it. So that is my closing invitation to you, is to go make your breakthrough move. And I love you. If you are in for CCA and you're like, hell to the yes, I'm in, let's go. You can DM me CCA on Instagram at Alyssa Stevens with the cute little underscores there. And regardless of what you choose today, I really mean this, regardless of what you choose, make the empowered choice for you, but make the empowered choice. Don't make the fear choice, make the empowered choice, either way. And regardless of what you do choose, I loved serving you this week. I'm so glad I got to know you a little bit, and I do not take it lightly that you chose to be here. So I will be in Telegram through tomorrow, Friday, August 2nd at 6 p.m. Eastern. And just as a last reminder, the 2 giveaways are completing tomorrow at that same time. And the CCA sign-up bonus of the personalized coaching audit also expires at that time as well. So I can stick around for a couple of questions I can stick around for a couple of minutes if there are any questions, but otherwise that is a wrap and we're good to go. Thank you for being here. Yay! Any questions? No, fantastic. Okay, I will see you later. Thank you very much.